You think anybody would really mind if we did this whole business from like a cabin in the mountains? Huh? Would it matter? Mariachi music, man. Let it play. I don't think anybody would care. That is the mariachi. It's Cinco de Mayo music, man. You know, we leave for a few days. We can't. Everything goes to hell, man. Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat. Happy Monday, everybody. How you doing? Hey, I broke a streak, by the way. Normally, when I'm gone, the markets, they just fall. There's a complete tank there, and looks like they held up. Now I'm back, the markets go down. What do? I don't know. The streak is weird now. So welcome to the Closing Beats, a financial, stock market update show that we do. We're financial advisors here, and we just like to do things differently, show you that we're watching the markets. We like to keep in track with the markets. We just love the markets, so we like to go over that stuff. We do a lot of geeky stuff as well, and we're going to do some of that here today. So stay tuned, because here we go. If you look off to the right-hand side of your... Oh, I got to tell you, if you bought one of the towels, a couple of the towels got sent back to us. So if you didn't get a towel today and you just bought like one or two, something with the envelopes and we have to re-stamp them or something. So we're not a shipping company, so they're going back out. So, or if you bought a towel today and we sent it out today and it comes back, we'll get it to you. We just got to change the envelope, I guess. Something weird there. But anyways, we'll send it out to you there, but thanks for the support, of course. And if you want one, go to the website, jazzwealth.com. All right, the stock market off to the right-hand side of the page. Bit of a down day. The Dow would be a little misleading there for taking a look because it was just slightly down. But, man, we were up. We were triple digits, and then it just gave it all back. Let's go take a look here and do what we do. So the Dow hit new highs to start the day. You got a topping tail, kind of a reversal. That's just a fancy way of saying you were at highs. You closed well off of the highs and, in fact, below the open of the day, which puts you negative for the day. Maybe a little bit of topping tail there. Still doesn't matter. The Dow's up 15%, about 15% year to date, and it still was the best performer today, even though, you know, it did finish in the negative. Still technically the best performer, and a lot of that's going to be due to healthcare. Let me go back over here. United Healthcare, although that left you with a topping tail as well, that continued its rally while I was gone there. It's averaged, if you look over the last 3 months, it's averaged a 10% gain each month. Right, so you think that's going to continue? I mean, you know, it's got to take a little break there, a little extended in the short term there. So that helped the Dow out today. Also, Home Depot, although that did reverse as well. That was higher today. Got a UBS upgrade because of those lumber prices, high lumber prices. I was actually in the mountains over the weekend, and they have a couple of like local lumber stores, and they were just shut. The door, they had the gates. I saw there was nobody welcome. I mean, they had some lumber out there, but that's in demand. Cut those trees down, I guess. That's what you want. So Home Depot a little bit higher here today. They said lumber prices fine because demand is still there for it, so that stock was higher. If we go over to the Nasdaq for the day, that was the weakest on the day and now the weakest on the year. Today, losing almost about 3%. And so we're about 8, I think it's right at 8% actually for the year. As far as off the highs there. We'll come back to that because I think that's about 8% there. Anyways, today's drag is going to have Tesla pulling back about 6.5% on the day. You had Apple in there as well. That was one of your pullback stocks. Biggest drags overall there. Tesla now down 1% a day average so far this month, and it's the 14th biggest loser in the Nasdaq 100 year to date. So if you like your pullbacks, you're apparently getting them here in Tesla, especially just got the Saturday Night Live thing. That was all the rage. I didn't watch it. I saw the posts and everything, but didn't catch it. But still, stock was a little bit lower on the day, so that hurt the Nasdaq. If we go over to the S&P 500, you got a loss on the day over 1% there. Last week, it gained an additional 1%, so it's erasing all of last week's gains basically in one day there. It's around 12% year to date there. Now, from a valuation standpoint, we take a different approach here today because I was doing a little research up in the mountains there. We take a different approach. We're at about a 30 PE, 30.3 if you want to take away what happened today. So 30.3 PE there. Last two times we were trading at these levels, it was 2001 and 2009, 8, 9, right in there. Also right in the middle of a recession, or caused the recession as part of it there. If we take a look, this is what's going on here. I want to show you something a little different. There you go. Here is the current PE ratio relative to each individual sector. So we got the S&P 500 trading about 30.3. It's aggressive. It's just not the highest it's ever been, but it's aggressive. And here are the current PE ratios of the individual sectors. So technology 33, consumer discretionary, and so on, all being stronger. Now, what's interesting here is these are also the underperformers. So if you're looking for ideas and you're a fundamental investor, but you're looking for that technical opportunity, well, you know financials are leading the way here. Healthcare, we've mentioned numerous times, starting to perk up. I like consumer staples here, just kind of out of favor, quietly doing their own thing over there. So that sticks out. And maybe just a way for you to dissect the markets, not only technically by looking for your pullback or your breakout or whatever you're playing, but also to wonder how you're playing along valuation-wise. Real estate being the most expensive out of the group there. Also, this week, if I could just point this out, let's go back to the S&P 500. This week, the week of May 10th, over the last 10 years, it ranks in the bottom 1% of all weeks in terms of performance. It actually has a median decline of 1.27%. So this week is known as being one of the, well, getting the sell in May sort of approach, or the people that like to say that. This is the week that would cause that. It is almost the weakest week of the year there, so something to consider. All right, sector breakdown. Let's go down here for the day. Let's take a look at tech. So, oh no, we're gonna do it this way. Tech stocks there down 4% in the last 1 month there, shaved about half of its year-to-date gains during that time period, and so everything today was mostly lower in tech. If you're looking around there, a handful of names were hurting the sector. Apple was basically 1/4 of the losses today for the tech sector there. Semis were the worst performing industry here today. You could use the SMH to take a look at that. That's one way to do it, or the SOX, whatever you like. And biggest decliners today were all semis as well. Lam Research. Now, I know you guys want your pullbacks on the semiconductors here, so here you go. You got Lam Research, right? You got AMAT pulling back off of highs there. You got Micron pulling back. Remember, we talked about these stocks. When they get volatile at highs, lots of backs and forths, that's usually the sign of a top. And so in this case, that's the case. Qualcomm pulling back today, one of the worst performers, down 6.5%. So when you're looking inside of tech, yeah, all right, you had your Apple and Microsoft and all that, but the semiconductors were the big drag. If we go over to communication services, Facebook was the biggest downside contributor here today. And I believe it was the biggest loser, down 4%. About 1% of the sector's losses today, the XLC, 1%, which is about half the day's losses, came from Facebook there. So that one stands out. Now, your dividend staple stocks, AT&T, strong, 1.5% gains on the day. Verizon, which is in the XLC, about 1.5%. So you got that point out. Also, LYV, Live Nation, that one gets an... what do you call it? Well, that one gets a notable shout out here today. Trying to break the downtrend, right? What does this stock do? LYV, Live Nation. They got an upgrade, $96 by Jefferies, puts it about up here somewhere, almost over the highs. And here's my view of this. So, musician, I like following musicians. I love the studio and tour musicians, so I follow a lot of the drummers on Instagram, right? And I noticed that a lot of their posts are in warehouses now, whereas they were playing in their house or at a friend's house. All of a sudden, their posts are more in a studio environment where you could see other players around them. And what are they doing? They're all in their warehouses getting ready for the upcoming tour. They've been hired by whatever it may be. Jay-Z, could be Eric Church. I saw he's out there promoting. So all these guys, these musicians, are getting back to work. For what? Not for fun. They're being paid to go back to work and start touring again. Well, that's starting to perk up there, and I think Jefferies picked up on that. And so when you look at something like the LYV, a lot of excitement there, people coming back. I can't wait. Let's get us out to a concert, man. Real estate, up about 0.5% on the day here. Home prices officially have their largest 8-month gain ever. We're going to spend a second on this if you don't mind. You got a second? Here you go. Median price for existing homes in the U.S. here. Also basically at highs there. $313,700 there. The average home sales price breaks $350,000. I'll change it up for you. $355,200. That's going to be the highest ever there. Now, if you're going to build a house, by the way, now it will cost you $40,000 just for the framing of a 2,000 square foot home. Last time I reported that, it was $25,000. It gives you an idea of how fast lumber prices are moving out there. Anyways, side note, about 70% of all borrowers that did buy an existing home, not a brand new home, an existing home, had a FICO score of 760 or better there. So you've got this dilemma, man. Prices keep moving higher. Inventory's moving lower. Let's see if I can overlay inventory. There you go. So now you got price in orange there. Inventory is at lows and dropping. Home prices moving higher there, so that's obvious. And my thought here was, all right, this got to be good for GDP, right? To get us out of the recession. Got 2 straight quarters of GDP positive growth. I was thinking maybe that'll help. Unfortunately, after a little bit of research here, you can find that GDP's real estate's contribution to GDP, only 13%, which is actually normal. Here's 2008, going back as far as I can. About 13% is where it stands. So we've barely moved the needle there. So in other words, real estate is not going to drive the economy out of a recession. It can't. There's not enough there. So that one stands out there. All right, what else do we have here? Bonds, rates are rising again. Let's go over here, take a look real quick. Slight uptick in rates, got a little reversal on Friday. Actually, a pretty impressive reversal there on Friday. The Fed, Richmond Fed president said there's no tapering, right? No tapering, which remember, this is how they're going to do this. They're not going to raise rates first. They're going to start tapering their bond purchases. You guys know that. I've explained that before. They said no tapering until the employment to population ratio is back over 61.1%. Geek out with me here for a second? Check this out. I was just checking this out the other day. So I'm going to zoom in so it's a little cleaner. We're currently at 57.9%, right? Actually, I'm going to go a little bit further here. Let's try 2006. 2006 or 5. That's fine too. So you look back here and you go, all right, 57.9. That puts us at the bottom range of where we were back in 2011. All right, so if we were to take this rally and project that out and say, okay, the employment population ratio to get to 61, how long would that take? It would basically take about the next 9 years to get there. So you have investors going, all right, fine, we're on our own, right? Tapering's not going to happen. We're going to have low interest rates for a long time. If that's really the metric they want to use and they're going to wait for that data to print 61.1, which is, I believe, is the prior high there, 61.2, then we've got a long time. I think they'll change their tune just a little bit, but that's what you have going on there in the bond market if you're paying attention. Looking at the new highs for the day, this number is going to be right when you see it. That's 219 new highs. 43% of the S&P 500 hit new 52-week highs today. I actually went through all of them there. I'll just point out a few that I like here for you. Nucor. I was just telling you about this last week. I had a client asking about this, wanted to sell it. I said, no, it's going to be over $100. It is now over $100, severely extended, by the way. Hopefully it holds up there. Best Buy. There you go. New breakout on Best Buy. So it's been chopping around a lot like Amazon. Finally comes out of the range, unlike Amazon. Breaks out, good volume, and stayed positive for the day. Up about 3% on the day. Not too bad there. Sticking with retail, we'll go over to limited brands. It's smaller. It's more of a compressed breakout there, but hits new highs, 2.25%. You're noticing the money moving over to retail. You include Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams, things like that. But you got money moving over to retail. TJ Maxx, same thing. Remember, we talked about this last week, early in the week. So that's where money is moving. Just pointing that out. Smucker's hitting new highs, 1.4%. Hey, when you raise prices and demand is still there, what happens? Stocks go up, right? So good for them. And even Coca-Cola broke out. So old sleepy Coca-Cola breaks out over $5 right in there and finished positive for the day, right? Good old staple stock sitting there. So is money coming back into staples? That creates a fun little scan for you to do some homework if you like. Let's do stocks in the news for the day. Roku. So you got Roku in the news there. They beat on earnings by 67 cents. Revenue's better than expected. They raised guidance going forward. People sitting around doing that. Stock's still down about 5%. I think there was a buyback maybe. I think maybe it was a buyback coming. I can't remember what the news was on that one, but still right around the 200-day moving average. This is its moment to make its decision and get things going. Bill.com, company we've been trying to work with, but they just don't seem to call us back. What's that all about? Down 8%. They deserve it. They should work with Jazz here. So down 8% on the day. Bill.com was one of the better performers. Worst performers here today. Reports a loss still. It's not working with Jazz. You know, give old Jazz a call. Where you at? And they bought Divvy. Remember, so Divvy is the you can kind of like rent a home until you can afford to buy it and all that stuff. They bought them for like $2.5 billion. So they're still working off that cash outlay, in my opinion. But if you call Jazz, we can work with you. Peloton up 4 1/3% today. Bottom pickers, that's what you have going on in Peloton. Bottom pickers there. Earnings reported a loss that was less than expected. They did lower guidance going forward because of the whole treadmill thing, so that was largely expected and priced in there according to, well, how the stock moved today. You got Square down 7%. These big tech stocks keep getting hit there. They beat on earnings by 25 cents. Revenue's better than expected. You got price targets moving higher, 269 from BMO, and a couple others as well. So price targets moving higher, stocks moving in the opposite direction right now. Is it a buy? You think Square's a buy in here? I can't say it, but I don't know. You tell me. And Twitter down 3.5% on the day. They're going to release the tip jar feature. I don't know. I'm not a Twitter guy. I tried, but I can't do it. It's not me. Duncan, sorry, not Duncan. DraftKings. I always say Duncan. DraftKings actually, stock was lower. Extended drop here on DraftKings. If you like that sort of thing. They had their earnings and everything. Revenue's better than expected. Raised their guidance because the number of unique players, gamblers, on the platform up 114%. So they raised their guidance going forward. Stock still hit here. I think we're moving into somewhere where that's more of an appropriate valuation for the moment. That'll change, of course, as time passes. But that's what you have. So we'll let the stream catch up here. I'll answer your questions if you have any. And let's see what we got here. Make sure I can pull everything up. And we're good to go. Let's see what you got. What are you doing out there? Will you have to sell your house or will this bloodshed end? Well, if there's one asset you could probably sell quickly, I mean, houses are as close to liquid as they've ever been. People literally down here, when you schedule an open house, they kind of stop doing open houses. But when you schedule one, now realtors are actually hiring for police escort. Not escort, but like traffic direction, because so many people come. It's incredible. It is incredible. I love it. Why did they set price targets at prices lower than what the stock has already hit? Is the market going to gain? Price targets, when they're set lower, remember, they're thinking 12 months out. So right now, what the stock does in one day is irrelevant to them. They're thinking 12 months out. And so their belief is it's just overvalued. You might find some of that in their notes if you ever read the research posts. Some of them are public where you can look them up, and some of them are proprietary. You have to either sign up for a service or something, but a lot of times that's the belief. Yep. Yeah, Nucor, killer, right? It's a great game. Very good. And sort of under the radar, right? Those are stocks that people don't really look at. They're not exciting. Yep. You like your Alibaba down there? JD, I saw pulled back a little bit today too. Oh, I'm typing in the wrong spot. I'm sorry about that. JD.com finally breaking down. I know some people mentioned this one. You're looking for this under 70. There you go. Getting a little closer, if you like that. You think dividends are where it's at till July? It's getting more attractive. You can see it. I mean, you look at the number of days where Verizon, AT&T, your staple dividend stocks are up when the market's down. That's sort of a quick way to do a rough analysis on that there. Yeah. Do you think inflation is transitory? To some degree. I know people are thinking catastrophe there. I don't have catastrophe in mind. I think we will run hot. And the Fed will be willing to let that happen. You will have that level of inflation. I think it will also be segmented to different areas of the market, but I don't think you're going to see out of control, like runaway inflation. I don't think that. With as much as the Fed intervenes these days, I don't see them losing control over that. Yeah. That being said, who's up for negative interest rates? Huh? Huh? Who could do that? Why do you think? So oil in general has just been kind of stable here. Remember that the hack attack or whatever, the ransom attack or whatever, it's not that big of an impact on the world supply. So you don't look at oil and say, well, why didn't it skyrocket today? Doesn't really move the needle there in terms of if you follow what's going on there. So I don't expect, I would have thought Occidental Petroleum to have a bigger move. Yeah, it was down a little bit today, but they also have earnings coming up. So it's a tough time to say, why didn't a stock just do one thing on one day because of one piece of news? That one, it's a tough one. I probably don't have the best answer there. You got earnings on all these things, like Occidental Petroleum's tomorrow, actually. So different focus for now. Yeah. Hey, any ideas where the drop-off in Chewy will stop? You got yourself some Chewy? So a little bit of a waterfall there. Okay, yep. 75 put that you sold on May 21st, and you should be rolling, right? You're beyond the time frame for you to start rolling out. Roll out. If you do that sort of thing or want to do that, but that's what someone would do. Yeah. You like Alibaba for a long-term shot there? If you're going to look at those, I would agree that Alibaba is the focus. I don't think 220 is your price. Remember, if it's long-term, you don't need to pick the bottom. That one's killer. If you're trading it, obviously more advantageous the closer you can get if you're playing counter trend. But you don't need to pick the bottom here. So I would almost, and this is just me, I think this way, but if it broke down here, and you could scare people out, even like this, even just for a day or two. See how that broke down? Everybody was fearful. If you could use that as your entry point, it's very tough to do, but that's the way I would think of it. Not to just say, oh, if tomorrow's green, I'll just step in. Buy the washout, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. Is crypto in the near future at Jazz? I believe so, because the new SEC chairman is loosening up a little bit, and that previously was not an option for us directly. Looks like that may be changing. Yeah. Your son wants the colors on the screen to be green more. Oh, like on the charts? I actually was debating going back to the black charts. I personally prefer the black charts are just slightly off black. Maybe that would help the green pop out. But we're also zoomed out. If I zoom in a little bit better, it's... Well, no, that's not better. Yeah. Now it puts the black outline on there. Well, maybe we'll just make our own one day. I love it. All right. I think that'll do there. I've got some work to do. But appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to be here, of course, all week. We'll be hanging out with you. So we'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again. You got earnings coming up tomorrow. Hope you're ready for that. Occidental Petroleum, Roblox, first earnings coming out since being public. Wynn Resorts will get some attention. Marriott will get some attention. Some of the utility stocks, Duke Energy will get some attention. And maybe Tyson a little bit. It's a tough one there. And MetLife paying out 48 cents and WellCare paying out 61 cents in the healthcare space. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a great day there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.